Hello, I'm Jake Noonan, and I'm the host of the 2-Minute Drill. Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be going over some of the games of the week, and I'm going to talk about who I think is going to win and why they are going to win. So the first matchup of the week that we're going to be going over is Boise State versus UNLV. This is on a Friday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. Big time matchup in the Mountain West. Both teams undefeated in the Mountain West, and could have playoff implications. And so this game, a lot of people are thinking about Ashton Jeanty, and you have every right to do that. Both teams coming off a bye, or Boise State's coming off a bye. UNLV is coming off an impressive win against Oregon State. The keys to this game are going to be Malik Williams against the Boise State defense. Boise State has a very talented defense, ranked 29th in efficiency. And Malik Williams, it's kind of been a weird year for UNLV. They had that quarterback controversy. He stepped away from the program. No one knew it was going to happen, but Malik Williams has stepped in, and he's looked sharp, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the year, and he's a mobile threat. But the biggest part of this game is going to be Boise State's offense versus the UNLV defense. We know Ashton Jeanty's going to get his yards. We know that they're going to run the ball. Like Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, he's the Heisman frontrunner for a reason. He's going to eat. He's going to cook. But the biggest thing in this game to me is Maddox Madsen and what he will be able to do against this 129th rated pass defense of UNLV. It's very susceptible to big plays. Sorry about that. And they're just not good against the pass. Well, they are 20th against the run. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, but I do think Boise State wins and covers 3 points. The next matchup of the week is Notre Dame versus Navy. Beginning of the season, you're looking at Notre Dame's schedule. You're like, oh, wow, they play Florida State at the end of the year, USC at the end of the year. Well, now those games are afterthoughts, and now you're thinking about the service academies, Navy and Army. And this week they got Navy at MetLife Stadium. This is going to be a fun game because you think Notre Dame's going to come in, dominate, low-scoring, ugly game, but Navy knows how to throw the forward pass now. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's the year 2024, and Navy has a passing game. So, what does this mean? How are the Irish going to be able to limit Navy's possessions? If Navy can keep the Irish defense on the field and have long, sustained drives, I think the Irish are in trouble this week, especially if Riley Leonard comes out looking not so sharp like he did last week against Georgia Tech. And I don't know if Notre Dame's going to be able to stop this Navy offense. They have explosive plays, and they're good at running the ball. That being said, I do think Notre Dame is just a little more talented, and they will sneak by. So I will be taking Navy to cover the 12.5, I think it is, but Notre Dame to win. The next game of the week is the CBS game of the week in Eugene, Oregon. The Oregon Ducks will be taking on the Illini of Illinois. This game is at 2:30. I already said that. Sorry about that. The thing about this game is, can Oregon stay hot? Dylan Gabriel, he's looked amazing. Oregon, they've dominated the line of scrimmage aside the Idaho game and the Boise State game, but they have Ashton Jeanty. He's going to cook anyone, I think. Can they keep it up? They're playing an Illinois team who has some momentum. They beat Michigan. They're off to a great start, 6-1, ranked 20th in the country. Brett Bielema's got this team looking good. But I just think Oregon is too good. They're too dominant. But we're going to go talk about some ways that Illinois can find a way to win. I think what needs to happen for Illinois to win is they got to force turnovers. They need to win this game and have like a +2 turnover margin at the least, I think. They got to create explosive plays, establish the run, and can Luke Altmaier get the job done? He's been solid this year, but he hasn't been elite. He looks good. That all being said, I don't think Illinois has a chance in this game. When Illinois went up against Penn State, I think the final score was 21-7. They covered, but I mean, Penn State's defense just dominated. And I think the same thing is going to happen in Eugene. It's too hard of a place to play. Illinois doesn't have offensive explosiveness, and Oregon's just going to run them out of the building in the third and fourth quarter. So I'm taking Oregon to win big. I'm taking Oregon to cover, and obviously I'm taking them to win. All right, now we're going to head over to the SEC, where things are not going so good for Kalen DeBoer's Alabama team, and they have Missouri coming to town, who's trying to get things going. Missouri has looked kind of shaky to start the year. Tight win against Vanderbilt, which looks pretty good now, and another tight win against Auburn last week. And Alabama, oh boy. Kalen DeBoer has a lot of work to do with this team. This team does not look locked in. They do not look energized. I don't know. It's not a Nick Saban Alabama team, and I think we can tell. First time with 2 losses before November since Saban's first year. Alabama fans are not happy. But I do think this is a good chance for Jalen Milroe and the Alabama run game. Jam Miller, Haynes, I think they get going this game. Missouri's defense, we watched them play Texas A&M. They got ran all over the building. And I don't know if Missouri they have not impressed me at all this season. They've been scraping by wins against teams they should be blowing out, and they got spanked by A&M on the road. So I think it's going to be a tough one for Mizzou. But Mizzou, if they're going to win this game, or could even compete in this game, Brady Cook needs to find his weapons. Theo Weiss Jr. and Luther Burden have to create explosive plays, which Alabama has given up explosive plays this year. We saw last week, Nico, Tennessee's quarterback, I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I'll mess that up. He had some open receivers and he missed the deep ball. If he hits on a couple of those passes, you're looking at a Tennessee 10-plus point win, and they already won by 7. So this Alabama defense is young and susceptible to the deep ball. I don't know if Brady Cook is going to hit enough of those big plays, though, for Mizzou to get the win. So I'm going to be taking Alabama to win and Missouri to cover. Next, we're going to be hopping into what I think is the game of the week. 7:30 Eastern Time, Kyle Field, top 15 showdown. This is going to be a fun one. Texas A&M, besides that Notre Dame game, they've looked good. They have dominated the line of scrimmage. Connor Wegman's been all right. He hasn't been anything special, but he hasn't needed to be. He's thrown for around 200 yards a game, but Texas A&M, how they score is through the run. They have the 13th best run offense in the country, and they've just been dominating teams aside from that Notre Dame game on the ground. I think Texas A&M's run game is going to keep dominating against the LSU defense that is getting better, but it still lingers some of last year when they just couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop anything, like nothing. So, I mean, you saw Jaden Daniels go 9-3, and he was the Heisman winner. So, yeah. On the other side of the field, I think Garrett Nussmeier is an elite quarterback. But he's thrown 18 touchdowns this year, 6 interceptions. He's looked great at times, and he's looked shaky at times. 2 years ago, when LSU, first year under Brian Kelly, played Georgia in the SEC championship game, I was like, dang, this Garrett Nussmeier kid's good. He should start over Jaden Daniels. Boy, was I wrong. But yeah, LSU is going to be able to score. They have talent all around on offense. Lacey's a good receiver. Nussmeier's going to find his men, and they're going to run the ball well. But I just think it's too much to ask to come into Kyle Field and really just dominate. I don't think LSU is going to be able to dominate A&M. And I think the 12th man, this D-line for A&M is too nasty. They're going to be cooking. They're going to be feasting. And A&M is going to win this week. And I think they're going to win big, like the Missouri game even. All right, for our final game of the week, we're going to Madison, Wisconsin, where Penn State takes on the Badgers, 7:30 Eastern Time, night game at Camp Randall. And I'm just saying, Wisconsin has opportunities to play spoiler this year. They play Penn State. They got Oregon coming to town later this year. And Luke Fickell's got this team rolling. They are hot. They beat Rutgers 42-7, I believe. They dominated Northwestern. They're doing their thing. And they're doing it how we think Wisconsin would do it, running the ball. They had 300-plus running yards against Rutgers, and they just dominated them. And this looks like a team from like 2015, 2017 that can just pound you to death. And Penn State, I hate to say it, they have not looked that sharp this year. They do have a home win against Illinois, 21-7. I wasn't impressed by anything Drew Aller did. They played USC in a game they got out-yarded, lost the turnover battle. They looked horrible against USC and somehow won. If Drew Aller looks like he did against USC, Penn State's going to get stomped. I really think Wisconsin's going to win the turnover battle, be able to get their ground game going, maybe have a couple deep passes, not a lot of explosive plays. Going to be low scoring in a crazy environment, can't ramble. They're going to be jumping around. That's their thing. And I think they dominate. I think Wisconsin's going to win this game. I think they win by 7+. And I just think Penn State's going to be shocked, and it's going to be another 10-2 year for James Franklin's Penn State squad, which will probably get them in the playoff, but I don't know. But yeah, so those are the games we went over this week. And just to recap, we have Boise State covering and winning against UNLV. We have Navy covering against Notre Dame, but Notre Dame pulling out the win. The Oregon-Illinois game, I got Oregon dominating. Don't see any way Illinois even competes in this game. I think Oregon outclasses them on both sides of the ball. Then we got an interesting game in Tuscaloosa. If Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama team drop another game to an inferior opponent, what does that look like for the future of Alabama and Kalen DeBoer there? Like, this team is not a saving team. I don't see the spark. I don't see the energy. Ever since that second half of the Georgia game, this defense has been just not that good. Then we go to Kyle Field, College Station, where I think A&M puts it on LSU. And I got A&M in the SEC championship game. They have looked sharp, man. And then to wrap up the week and the night, we got Penn State traveling to Madison, Wisconsin, for the Badgers to pull off a win.